Okay, so today is December 4th, my 3-month anniversary in Japan. The only reason I know that is because a student of mine proclaimed "Happy Anniversary!" Today in one of my classes, and I didn't really understand why he was saying that. So, after a conversation with the teacher in Japanese, uh, she tells me in English that today I've been here for 3 months. So yeah, it made me pause and reflect. It's been, it's been a ride so far, and I'm still on that roller coaster of culture shock. And to be honest, I'm on the fence. Um, I'm not the kind of guy who changes stuff. And I read a lot about English teachers and other ALTs um, going mad over the English teaching system in Japan. And when I was at home reading this stuff back in the States, I always thought to myself, I would love to have a job in Japan, even if it was meaningless. Yeah, but I don't share those feelings anymore. And through my high school teaching experience so far, I think there could be many improvements. So, fanboys, don't hate. Japan is great though, except for a few things that build over time. I'm not really gonna go into all the cool things about Japan because there's just too many. Too many things to list. But I am gonna hit up some annoying things that I've encountered. And yes, there are annoying things about every country. You can't escape being annoyed by something. So keep in mind, I live in a very rural area, so the things that I will list hopefully do not apply to all of Japan. Alright, I made a little list here. Number 1. I just experienced this on the way walking home. What's with burning trash? It seems to be allowed where I live, that trash can be burned on your property, in your neighborhood. So that choking smell is around at least once a week. It drives me nuts. I hate smoke. Granted, it's nearly not as bad as that horrible sulfur smell that you have to deal with living in Galveston. That sucks, especially in the winter. So number 2, now that it's getting cold, as you can see I'm in my sweater, the idea that a first world country not having central heat just boggles my mind. Like, I have an aircon over there, and yeah, I don't have a kotatsu, or kotatsu, whatever. I don't have a space heater, I just have my aircon acts as a heater as well. So it's fine in my apartment. But I just don't understand how, like, buildings here don't have central heat. And I can see people saying that the Japanese live in harmony with nature and even the argument, think of all the energy they save. But alas, I sit in the teacher's office now and slowly get gassed by the smell of burning kerosene because they have kerosene heaters just in the middle of the teacher's office, just like 2 at both schools. So it's not just at one. It kind of reminds me of cold nights where I used to work at an airport pumping jet fuel. Smells almost exactly the same. And then teachers come in from like teaching class, and they'll open the windows to get a fresh breeze to blow in, because you can tell when you walk in and out of the room how much it smells. And then bam! It is cold. It is cold again all over in the room. You're freezing. And then they realize that it's cold outside, and they shut the windows. And there you go, a new session of gassing. Just gotta warm up again. 3. Why did the economy have to take a dump when I get here? Yeah, so I don't know if it's due to Abenomics, but I know because of the quantitative easing, if I convert yen to dollars now, I get about 20% less return than what I got when I first arrived. So this makes paying off student loans or any kind of debt you have, I guess, in the States or in another country, kind of difficult. So let's say I send, what is this? Let's say I send 100,000 yen home. When I first got here, that equaled about $1,000. It was pretty much 100 yen to $1 when I got here. Cool. Now, when I send 100,000 yen, I get a whopping $800 roughly. So that's $200 that just disappear for no reason at all, just because of the stupid exchange rate. Maybe one day I'll make money off of it. That is, if I stay here long enough, or I'm still here when it recovers. On top of that, I've noticed that food prices are going up, especially at restaurants. A whole 30 yen. Boo-hoo. That's like 30 cents. But it's like when McDonald's got rid of the dollar menu, pretty much. And that I enjoyed so much when I was in high school. Now it's like the value menu, but nothing's under $1 anymore. 4. Teaching English in high school as an ALT. Okay, so hopefully I don't shoot myself in the foot here by saying this, but it sucks. It's actually really fun, but the outcome doesn't work out well. It's one of the times I would agree with America and implement a level system into language learning, at least in the public schools that I'm noticing. I have no experience in an Eikaiwa or after-school programs or anything like that. But right now, my schools are a one-size-fits-all lesson. The levels of interest range from the students greatly, and I can't express that enough. And I don't know who I'm supposed to teach to. I don't know if I'm supposed to teach to the strongest student and leave the weakest students in the dust, or teach the weakest students and the strongest students wouldn't learn anything. It's literally almost day and night, some of the levels of these students. I've given 2 tests so far, and grades have ranged from a 98 to a 3. In the same class. And they're students in, like, first-year students that could do better than third-year students, and vice versa. It's so random, like, the statistics of my classes. And yeah, I know there's gonna be bad students in every school and in every country. But come on. There needs to be, like, some new system implemented. Let iron sharpen iron, as they say. Or steel sharpen steel. However that goes. Instead, it seems like the bulk of the class leans on the few bright ones to translate for them. I do get to make my own lessons. My teachers really want me to in both schools. So I'm very hands-on. All I ask from them is a general topic, because I'm definitely not creative enough to be like, oh yeah, the students need to learn about, I don't even know. Yeah, see. So I do make my own lessons after getting a topic from the teachers. So they'll say, oh, we want to hear like a phone conversation, or do a weather lesson, or do a lesson on buying clothes. So stuff like that. I have not experienced that dreaded tape recorder teaching that some ALTs talk about. So I have no idea what that's like. I'm sure you feel like you're wasting away, but it's super easy. I don't know. It's like a double-edged sword, I guess. But I know I would hate it. So the idea of after-school programs are starting to sound better and better to me every day. And I want to say, at least you know the students that you have in after-school programs, or in a Kaiwa or whatever. At least they're going to have an interest or see an importance of learning a new language. Though I've heard parents sometimes force their kids to be there, so I guess you can have the same problems. Okay, 5. This one really isn't mine. It's some fellow ALTs. There's actually a couple. Well, there's 2 in my area and another one in another area, but the more I hang out with different ALTs, the more I'm finding being a vegan is really hard in Japan, especially if you're strict about it. Honestly, I don't know how they do it, especially if you can't read or speak Japanese. You won't be vegan in Japan. In my opinion, it makes a very hard diet even more difficult, and it turns people like me away from it because it's just compounding my laziness. I don't know. Obstacles. So sorry, my inner hippie isn't hippie enough. Alright, enough with the negativity. Hopefully I'm not too negative. I'm sure everyone who romanticizes about Japan is probably screaming at their monitor, "Why would you live in a country you hate?" But I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't miss America. I miss some friends, some family, my dog, but not America. Japan is a great place. It's pretty clean. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty safe. Though I have some stories to argue with that after being here for 3 months. My Japanese level is rudimentary at best. I struggle reading katakana. It's like I'm in kindergarten all over again with alphabets, sounding out words and saying it faster and faster until it makes sense to me. And I probably know about 5 to 10 kanji. And without my smartphone, I would be a blathering idiot. Trying to mime my way through communicating. There's a lot of things going against me here in Japan. People stare, though I don't notice or mind, but it does bother some other ALTs. I'm too loud in public. I like to put my hands in my pockets. I annoy other ALTs with too many questions. I take advantage of other people's language skills. For example, when I'm traveling with other ALTs, I'll try my damnedest to listen to how they ask for things, but I always end up just saying, "Same," and it works out just fine. That's usually for tickets, like the ferry or the bus, or the Shinkansen. In restaurants, I'm that Neanderthal that still points at pictures or words and butchers it. So, all in all, the people are great. I'm having a really nice time. Will I stay? Right now, I'm leaning on not with Jet. Call me crazy. I want to feel more meaning and see what else Japan has to offer outside my little town, even if it does mean getting paid less. 3 months. Seems like I've been here for a year already, but 3 months doesn't sound that long at all. This isn't a hate video on Japan. It's just a reflection of where it's... Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm sure it seems like I emphasized on a lot of negative qualities, but it's just easier. Almost everything about Japan is great. I even like sorting the trash. Kind of makes me feel like I'm helping out the planet or the environment somehow. The good things about Japan go on, and everyone else talks about that. The daily life here isn't all wacky and crazy. It's the same as everywhere else, except not being able to communicate in my situation. But that's my own fault. Pokemon aren't wandering the street, but you do hear that yokai watch song everywhere. No samurai clan has adopted me. No attempt of assassination from ninjas. That might change after this. No gaijin hunter experiences. No otaku nerds roaming the open streets. Hell, I don't even drive yet in Japan. I'm working on it. And even though I have a volcano in my backyard, I still have not experienced an earthquake, so I'm sure that will be fun. I can see the light blinking on my camera. I don't know what that means. I have experienced manga cafes, restaurants, ramen shops, arcades, or game centers, as they call them here, Japanese-style inns, tea ceremonies, enkai, nomi hodai, tabe hodai, yakiniku, sharing sake with colleagues, a snack bar, festivals, shows, parades, and karaoke, which are all better than I can describe. I'm yet to experience the whole of Japan, and I probably never will. But I want a good hunk of it. I wonder what the future holds.